It was time. He had been instructed to seal the doors and leave, but while he locked everything down, he didn't move on. If this was truly meant to be the end, if the remnant needed to be washed away, he needed to be a part of that.
This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you, although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace and perhaps more waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, old friend.
And with that, it was over.
Unironically, that was the hardest line I've ever heard in my life. He said, for one of you, the deepest part of hell will open up to swallow you. So don't keep the devil waiting, old friend. Oh my God. We gotta run that over. We gotta run that back.
For you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, old friend.
And with that, it was over.
That's hard. Oh my God. Shit's peak makes me want to cry. That was peak. That was peak. Oh my God.
The Afton legacy died with all of them trapped inside of a literal box as the flames danced.
Like, I quite literally will play that game just to hear that line. That was hard.
Around the office, Mike, for the first time in decades, was happy. But William wasn't gone yet. Although the darkest pit of hell was open and waiting for him, something or someone wouldn't allow him to move on. Instead, he found himself locked in moments from his past. The pizzeria, his son's room, his underground bunker. It was as if his brain's neurons were all firing at once, overloaded, mixing and matching all his biggest fears, regrets, failures. What was this place? How did he get here? He called out into the silence. Then they started coming. Without warning, animatronics, both new and old, began to jump out at him, bite him, rip him limb from limb. The pain was immeasurable. Make it stop. Make it stop. William, for the first time, longed for death, an end to this torture. Just as it felt like he couldn't take it anymore, everything was quiet again. It was as if the world had been reset. There was a brief moment of quiet, and then the onslaught began again. Dozens of faces from his past all focused on him. A waking nightmare that he couldn't escape from. More pain, more ripping. It was his own personal hell, but why? Why couldn't he just die?
Hey Meta.
Bro, I'm
something
sick
chill.
of these ads. Y'all don't go through this many ads.
Introducing Propel Energy Boost
Y'all don't
with
go through
caffeine,
this many ads.
citicoline, and Gatorade electrolytes.
Then he saw them, a group of characters he never thought he'd see again. Those janky, stolen characters that had started everything. The mediocre melodies. It had all started to go wrong once they showed up. Once Henry had made them. But mixed in with their obnoxious southern drawls, William heard something else. It was barely a whisper, but he could just make out the words.
He tried to release you. He tried to release us. But I'm not gonna let that happen. I will hold you here. I will
Who is this?
keep you here, no matter how many times they burn us.
That voice. He knew that voice, but from where?
Greetings from the fire, and from the one you should not have killed.
The one he shouldn't have killed. William thought back. He'd done a lot of awful things, but there was always the one that stood out. Not Charlie, his drunken act of revenge. Not Susie, his first true murder. No. Instead, it was the one that he had lost control with. The one that he had broken beyond repair for no good reason other than because he could. The one that he'd stuffed inside the golden bear that his partner used to wear. Cassidy. They were back, and now they were trying to punish him, to make him suffer like he'd made them suffer.
Cassidy. Why does that sound familiar? Let me think. Yeah, that's Cassidy. Okay, yeah. I do remember that.
It was almost like William and Cassidy's souls had been locked together, fused by a collective rage and spite, each refusing to move on. But while Cassidy was so focused on taking revenge, they actually did the one thing that would be the downfall for so many others. They kept William alive. Even though fire should have destroyed the remnant that was coursing through his being, Cassidy kept William breathing, paving the way for his escape. William's will was so strong, his soul so powerful that he managed to put a part of himself inside the circuitry that housed the spring-locked suit, and there his consciousness lay inside a single circuit board, waiting for someone to find him and set him free. A person that no one would suspect. Okay, so a bit of a shorter chunk, but an important one as we shift perspectives to Mike and tell his side of the story. And with FNAF VR, AR, and Security Breach having so much to explain, I didn't want to rush through things by trying to cram it all in here. Don't worry, I know you've all been patient. The final video is happening on March 25th. That is locked, it is getting ready to go. Trust me, I want this thing to be over and done with as much as you. I am not just stretching it out for the views. But before we wrap up for the day, I did want to talk about the big Orville elephant in the room, Mike's quest for revenge. You might have noticed that I was vague about the dates, and there's a good reason for that. I don't know them. There is no good way for me to make them fit in. Here's what I do know. We know with a high amount of certainty that Michael Afton is the character that we play as up until Ultimate Custom Night. Mike Schmidt and Fritz Smith, the security guards for FNAF 1 and FNAF 2 respectively, get fired for, quote, tampering with the animatronics and odor. So weird connection between the two of them, right? But now, look at the Phantom animatronics.
Hey, I appreciate you. I thank you. I am proud. I'm proud of you, Alexia. Look at you go, gang. Look at you go. I appreciate you.
That are haunting us in FNAF 3. They use models from both FNAF 1 and FNAF 2, meaning whoever is sitting in that security guard chair, Fazbear Frights, they have to have seen both locations and their animatronics. And that's not all. Their designs are burnt. It's a weird detail in the game, and it's something that the character encyclopedia repeatedly calls attention to. The burned texture for these Phantom animatronics. Why is that so unusual though? Fazbear Frights is the first time in the franchise that we hear about anything burning down. From that point on in the story, it's like the characters turn.
In Albion, no matter where you go or what you do, your mount will accompany you on your journey. Perhaps you'll pick the ox, a merchant.
Turn pyro and are suddenly setting fires left and right, but for the first 3 games, nothing ever catches fire. The animatronics are just moved or
They do kind of look like a weird watermelon, I ain't gonna lie.
repurposed in some way. So when did they burn? And why would our security guards see them as being burned? Someone has to have been going location to location, setting these places on fire, purging the sins of the past. We know we're definitely playing as Mike and Sister Location in FNAF 6 based on the in-game dialogue. And in FNAF 4, there's an Easter egg where we can hear the phone call from Night 1 of FNAF 1, meaning that whoever's in that bedroom has heard the recording as a security guard.
So you're not playing as a crying child in FNAF 4? You're playing as Mike? Why this whole time I thought you were playing as the crying child?
Also know that Mike has seen the nightmare animatronics based on his drawings in the security logbook. So
right.
Overall, there is solid evidence that connects all of FNAF's 1 through 6. You'll also notice how the character...
There's FNAF 1 through... There's 6 of these games I have to play? Hold up. Did they put them in order?
Overall, there is solid evidence that connects all of FNAF...
Is this the order that you're supposed to play them in? Yeah, I know you told me. No, technically you said there was like 11. So yeah, but somebody said you're supposed to play like 4 first, then like 1 and 2. No, you're supposed to play 4 first, then Sister's Location, and then 1, 2, and then Pizza, and then 3. I think that's how they said. They said, yeah, I said that's why I want to play him in. I want to play him in chronological order. Or would you just recommend I play them? Or would I just play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? That's how I should play him? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
FNAFs 1 through 6. You'll also notice how the character encyclopedia doesn't have a page for Mike Afton. This thing has a page for Chocolate Bunny Bonnie, but not Michael. Some tells me they don't want us to confirm how many games he's been in, because that would confirm too much of the theory. In short, this gives us an incredibly compelling and complete narrative. Mike as our protagonist, and William his father as our antagonist. Mike accidentally kills his brother in Fredbear's mouth, which begins our story and sets William down his pathway of destruction. Mike is then haunted by the guilt of his past and is looking to make things right across the rest of the games. In Sister Location, he learns what his father's been up to and realizes what he has to do to correct it. After failing to finish the job in FNAF 3, he ultimately helps Henry end it all in FNAF 6. It is great. It is a clean narrative. There is just one problem: timing. Mike's quest...
You say that, but from what I've heard, Scott Coffin, the creator, doesn't even know what order they're supposed to be in himself. So I don't know.
Can't really start until he's been down to sister location, seen baby, and gotten himself scooped. That's when he finds out about Afton's secret life. It's also when he's gonna start to smell, because, you know, he's a walking, talking, rotting corpse. And we know that he's not going down into the bunker until the Funtime animatronics have been made, Freddy's has been closed, and Afton is out of the picture. That all should be happening post-1993, after William is sealed behind a wall. But that then presents us with a few problems. Afton has already dismantled the original animatronics as we see in the FNAF 3 minigames. How are those things getting burned if they're already deconstructed? But more importantly, we see FNAF 2 paychecks with the date 1987. That is way earlier than I think it can be. To be fair, Fritz Smith's pink slip on night 7 doesn't have a date, but it's a bit weird to say that the first few nights are in 1987, and then employee number 3 is hired on years after the restaurant closes. Anyway, just wanted to call that out because I don't have a solid answer for it, and I'd love to see your comments down below. And with that, my friends, this chapter comes to a close. We'll see you on March 25th for the grand finale as we cover the final 3 games in the franchise and the controversial answers we think solves what those games were trying to tell us. Until then, my Faz heads, remember, even though Afton kinda succeeded in being brought back to life, gotta admit, he's still looking a little bit on the dry, dehydrated side. I suppose 3 fires and being dead for a decade will tend to do that to ya. Fortunately, thanks to today's sponsor, Era, I think we can help him out.
I think that's it. I think the last is gonna be. I think FNAF 6 is free though. Well, all right. Let's go ahead, open up Steam, and see how much all this stuff is. Still not gonna buy the games until I get paid, but I'll try to set a little money to the side after I get paid for this. Alright? $9 each? Crazy. I mean, that's not bad for games. Yeah, I guess that's not bad for games. Alright, what are they called? 5 nights. Oh, excuse me. At Freddy's. Thank you. All right. 5 Nights at Freddy's, $4.99. Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic, $40. Holy shit. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, $7.99. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is $7.99. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach is $40 again. Not the Mimic. Why not play the Mimic? It's the Five Nights at Freddy's game. What's wrong with Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic? Security Breach, $40. Five Nights at Freddy's 4, $7.99. You haven't heard about the Mimic? So, because you haven't heard about the Mimic, I can't play it? That don't make no sense. I'm not seeing Five Nights at Freddy's Sister's Location, $7.99. Five Nights at Freddy's Into the Pit, $19.99. There's a lot of spin-offs. Hold up. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach Ruin is a free DLC. Ultimate Custom Night is free. And then Five Nights at Freddy's Pizza Simulator doesn't have a price. And that's all I'm seeing right now. All the rest is like extra stuff. All right, and I still have yet to get to the games that you told me to play either. You sent me other games other than Freddy's Reanimated, like what you do? All right, let me add everything to this wish list so I don't have to find them again. I know they're scary. You had me play one of them, remember? I fell out my chair because of you. Don't LMAO me. I'm still mad at you for that, by the way, if you couldn't tell. Alright, I'm wish listing all these games so I could just go to my wish list and find them. You have free Wi-Fi. I don't care. Oh, I don't know how I said Wi-Fi. I had free will. You're right. You know, I didn't think, like, I knew there were horror games, but like I don't get scared easily, right? So I thought I was gonna be able to just tough it. Nah. That's my bad. That's my bad for thinking that. Well, they got the joy of creation on here too. That was something you told me. Look, my dyslexia goes crazy sometimes, gang. When you take a horror game recommendations from me, be scared. Yeah, I learned my lesson. Never again. Never again, bro. Never again. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't.